Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. Welcome to something a little bit different. I'm conscious that gaming content does quite well on the channel, and I wanted to give you a few more videos of my opinions on certain genre games that I have thoroughly enjoyed my time with on the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5. All of these games that I'm going to mention in this video are all playable on PlayStation 5, but primarily the majority of them I put my time into them on a PlayStation 4. And this video I really want to talk about my favourite space games essentially on the PlayStation. Now, I didn't want to specifically say science fiction games or in that genre particular, because that would go into a whole different array of games. You know, I'd be talking about Mass Effect and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and The Outer Worlds, and even Fallout, you could argue, you know, in some degree science fiction to a large degree, and all of those are great games, and I might do another video talking about those sort of games. But this video in particular, I want to talk about my favourite space games, and primarily like space simulation games. These are games that I have a real affection for. They can be really fantastic to play. Some of them can be really exciting and edge-of-the-seat stuff. Some of them can be quite chilled out experiences. But many of them I really enjoy playing. So I hope you enjoy this video. I would love to know in the comments if there's any games you think I've missed out. And all of these games are games that I've played extensively. There will be some games that haven't made this list, and essentially I haven't made this list because I won't have played them. These are only games that I have played and put a lot of time into, so I hope you enjoy watching. The first game that I want to talk about is a game called Everspace. Now, this was released back in 2017, and it's a game I spent a lot of time playing upon its release. It is essentially like a space sim, roguelike space sim, essentially where you go on a run, and when your ship explodes, it is then you have to kind of start again and build up your ship and its systems and its weapons to try and get further and further into the game. It's got a really addictive gameplay loop. It's got some great combat and some great like explosion effects and great close-shipped combat. It's a lot of fun to play. Ultimately, it does get a little bit frustrating eventually in regards to you could get really far in the game and then you could kind of lose out. And to be perfectly honest, many people are actually really looking forward to Everspace 2. It's supposed to be a massive improvement on the first game. It's no longer roguelike, I believe, Everspace 2, and I do think it is released this year. So it is a game I will definitely be playing and definitely be putting a lot of time into. But if you've never played Everspace, definitely give it a go. There's a lot here to enjoy for sure, and you can usually pick it up for a fairly cheap price these days. So definitely one for you to keep an eye on, guys, this one. The next game that I want to talk about is a game called Space Crew. This was released last year. It's a game I did some coverage on the channel, and this game is a really fun, cute little game. And essentially, fans of Star Trek out there, you'll probably get an awful lot of fun out of this game. You essentially are set on this Earth base. You've got to build your crew up and put them on your starship, and you go out and do missions. And these missions can be a wide varying missions, delivery missions, bounty hunting missions, missions to take down this alien race that's threatening Earth. And you've got a crew on your ship, and each crew has got certain specifics. You've got gunners, you've got captains, you've got engineers, navigators, and all your crew can be upgraded. Your ship can be fully upgraded, and it's an awful lot of fun to play. I must admit, I put a lot of time into this game when it was released, and it's a game I definitely strongly recommend, guys, that you try out because it's an awful lot of fun. It takes a little bit of getting used to. There's a nice tutorial when you play the game. But once you get into this game, it is a lot of fun, honestly, and you get really addicted to the fact that, you know, going back after each mission and with the credits and things that you've earned, improving your crew, and then also improving your ship so that next time you go out, you're a little bit better on your crew and your ship's a little bit stronger next time you go out. So definitely one to check out, guys. The next game I want to talk about is Star Trek Bridge Crew. This was released in 2017. Now, this is a game that was initially released just on VR. So I didn't play it when it was initially released because I didn't have VR. And then sometime later it was released so you could play this game with VR or without VR. So this is now accessible to everybody, this game, which is fantastic. And Star Trek Bridge Crew essentially is, it puts you in command of the starship. I was about to say Starship Enterprise. It's not the Starship Enterprise, but it's a starship. And you've got a crew in front of you. You've got helmsmen. You've got, your science officers, all this kind of stuff. And you've got to basically give them orders, flying around, going to different places, doing different missions, blowing different ships up, patrolling certain areas. It's a really, really fun game. Now, this game, you can play it solo if you want, but you'll have more fun on this game if you play the game and invite friends. So you can have different friends as different crew members. So you've got you could have someone being the captain, you could be someone on the weapons, someone on navigation, someone on repairs. And you've all got to work together to make sure the mission's a success. It's a lot of fun to play. There's some great DLC as well where you can get classic ships and skins for ships like from the original Enterprise and the Next Generation one. Basically, if you're a fan of space simulations and certainly a fan of Star Trek, this is a game you definitely should be checking out. I think it's wonderful. Now, this next game is Rebel Galaxy Outlaw. This was released last year, and we had to wait for a bit on consoles. It was released the year before on PC, I believe. Now, Rebel Galaxy is a sequel to Rebel Galaxy Outlaw, should I say, is a sequel to a game called Rebel Galaxy that was released a good few years ago on the PlayStation 4. And it is a game I played and enjoyed. But this time round, they really improved on every single area. And those of you out there who like a pick up and play space simulator, almost like the Wing Commander type games, you will absolutely love this game. You essentially play this outlaw and you travel from space stations to space station. You'll pick up jobs, bounty hunting jobs, a whole number of jobs. You can get different ships, buy different ships. You can upgrade the ships you've got. You can hire people to work with you, and you can go out and do different missions out there. The space combat is fantastic. It's really easy to pick up and learn, and it is a lot of fun to play. There's a difficulty spike as well that once you get used to it, it really is very enjoyable to play. But I have had so much fun playing this game, and it's a game I strongly recommend you guys try out if you like space sim games for sure. Now, this next game that I want to talk about is Elite Dangerous, and this is probably the most established game on the list. It was released in 2014, and this is the truest space sim on this list as well. I mean, if you're wanting a real simulation type game, then this is the one you're going to be interested in. Now, Elite Dangerous has been intimidating to many. It puts them off because of the complexities of it. It is quite a difficult game to learn. But I have to say, when this game was released, I mean, I go way back. I used to play the original Elites way back on Commodore 64s or Spectrums or wherever it was they were on. Legendary game. And I can't tell you how many hours I've put into this game, Elite Dangerous. Upon release, I must have put about 150 hours into it, and I've probably put double that amount in since then. It is a difficult game to pick up and play. However, if you are interested in trying out Elite Dangerous, there are a few guides on the channel to help you that I did at the time when it was released. Now, the thing is with Elite Dangerous, you can basically do what you want on this game. You can be a passenger. You can be like a passenger jet, so you can you can transport people around and earn money that way. You can earn it through mining, through bounty hunting, through just doing different missions for different factions. The possibilities are really endless, and it really is open to you, and it has got quite an addictive gameplay loop because you're constantly looking for a better ship to upgrade, and there's so many different ships to choose from that will allow you to be the space commander that you want to be, basically. So there are ships out there if you want to mine, there are ships out there if you want to bounty hunt, there are ships out there if you want to be a passenger liner. And it is really, really fun and addictive. There is a new update coming to this soon, which will turn it into a first-person shooter as well, where you can get out of the ship and actually walk around space stations and planets and things like that, which I'll be very, very interested in playing. But I implore you guys, if you're patient and you're willing to learn, you will get an awful lot out of Elite Dangerous. Trust me, it is a really fantastic game. Now there's a game that just had to make this list, and predictably it certainly has, and that is No Man's Sky. This was released back in 2016. Now this is arguably the most hyped game of all time before its release. Everybody was stupidly excited for this game, including myself. It came out, and even though it was bare bones, I certainly got a lot of enjoyment out of this game in its early days. But it got slated by many, rightfully so, you could certainly argue. But ever since then, the team behind No Man's Sky have worked tirelessly to constantly update this game, constantly add content, and it is now in such a good state. It is definitely the game that was promised all them years ago, back in before the game was released. It's a super game. It really is fantastic. I have done extensive review on this, and I even did a recent review on this just a few months ago, just to give you an updated review in VR. You can play this game in VR or out of VR now. It's immersive in both modes, really. And there's not a real amount of stuff to say about No Man's Sky that you don't already know, other than to say, if you've never played No Man's Sky, trust me guys, now is the time to get into this game, because it is really wonderful. There's so many things you can do in this game. It is definitely the game that everyone was hoping for and promised back in the day, and it is one of the best science fiction and space simulation games ever. So please try it out guys if you've never done so. And the last game that I want to talk about is Star Wars Squadrons. Now this was released last year. Let's be honest, EA have certainly I've got a patchy history when it comes to Star Wars games. We don't need to get into all the logistics of it, but they've ruined some Star Wars games, but the last couple they've certainly delivered. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order was fantastic, and when we all heard that this was coming out, and obviously EA was behind it, we all thought it would be crammed full of microtransactions, and we were all a bit skeptical. And then it was released, and I have to say guys, it is one of the best spaceflight games I have ever played. If you're a fan of Star Wars, you're going to be in hog heaven with this game. This is another game that could be played in VR or out of VR, and there's a review on the channel for both modes if you want to check them out. And I have to say, even though it is fantastic playing this game out of VR, if you play it in VR, it is one of the most immersive VR experiences you will ever have. It is on another level. This game has got great content. It's got a great single player story. I have to say I had a great time playing the single player story, but there's also some really good multiplayer action here. I'm not a big fan of multiplayer games, as you guys know if you watch my content a lot, but I had a really good time with this game. It's really fun. It's really immersive. It's the first time I've played like a Star Wars space sim game for a long time, and felt a real part and a real connection to the Star Wars universe. This game does it remarkably well. You can play as the Empire, or you can play as the Rebels. It does a great job here of balancing it all out. There's some fantastic ships for you to play as, and it's got some great combat action. It's one of those games that I think you will love if you're a Star Wars fan. It is definitely one of the best games out there to play. So those are some space games for you guys to check out. Now, as I've said before, there are other games that you could choose, obviously, on PlayStation. These are all games that I've put an awful lot of time into. They're not really in any particular order. They're all worth checking out for different reasons. Some of them will be nice and easy to pick up, nice and cheap. Some of them might be a little bit pricier. But all of them are definitely recommended by me, and all of them I have put a lot of time into and had a great deal of enjoyment out of. So thanks for watching guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and of course I'll be back with loads more content on the channel very soon.